Good morning and welcome to Saguaro National Park. I'm Ranger Steve Purkiss here at the base of Signal Hill, and today I want to talk about petroglyphs and what a suitable place to do it where we have hundreds of petroglyphs at our disposal right behind us. What are petroglyphs? Coming from the Greeks, the word petro means rock, glyph means to write or to carve or engrave. Now, some people call petroglyphs rock art, some people call petroglyphs rock writing, but are they really art? Are they really writings? Petroglyphs you don't read like words. You don't read like a story. So 1,000 years from now, think about what our inhabitants might think of the signs and the symbols that we use, like stop signs or religious icons or even symbols used for Starbucks or Apple. Will they look back like we do on the petroglyphs from thousands of years ago and ask, what did this mean? Petroglyphs have been made all over the world by many different cultures, some even still being made today. Here in the Southwest, Native American cultures have been making petroglyphs for thousands of years. You can find petroglyphs in the mountains, in the plateau valleys, and even here in the desert like the ones we find here on Signal Hill. The Hohokam people have been making petroglyphs in southern Arizona, along the river valleys, and in the deserts for thousands of years, dating back from 300 to 1450 AD. Most of the rock art that we do find here at Saguaro National Park and here on Signal Hill seem to be from the Hohokam period. But in the park we have found rock art that may date back from the Archaic period, upwards of 5000 BC. So there are many different methods to making a petroglyph. One being to take the rock, the surface of the rock, using a sharper rock and actually abrading or scratching whatever the design was into the rock. So why don't we go up to the top of the Signal Hill, take a look at some petroglyphs and discuss them a little bit more. Now the most common way the Hohokam people would make their petroglyphs would be by taking a sharp pointy stone and what they call a hammer stone and literally pecking away at the side of the rock to make their image. Now petroglyphs are typically seen on flat surfaces like the face of a rock or on a ledge, and they're thought to be intentionally placed. Very rarely are they randomly placed. Petroglyph designs can be both representational and abstract. When we look at abstract forms, we see things like just shapes or spirals like the one you see behind me. Representational, you'll see something more like the human form or an animal or even a plant. Most rock art can be classified into a few different categories, like basic geometric elements, like I mentioned before, shapes, geometric designs, something a little more elaborate but we're not quite sure what it is, botanical designs like the flora, and zoological or zoomorphical designs like animals. And then we've got the anthropological designs that are usually take form of a human shape. So the million-dollar question is, what do these petroglyphs mean, or what do they represent? What are they? Well, we know what they aren't. We know they're not graffiti. Graffiti is intentionally placed in a place where it's not supposed to be or to disrupt something else. We know they're not hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics are supposed to represent words or sounds. And very rarely do we think that they're actually doodles. So what are petroglyphs? What do they represent? Well, they're messages. Realistically, we can't know necessarily what was in the mind of the designer or the person who created them, but by studying cultures and artifacts and comparing them to symbols that we have seen from the past, it may be possible to get a general idea. Some designs we'll never really understand, but we can have fun. We can imagine what they might represent. So let's make a short list of what these petroglyphs might represent. They could represent history. It could be a record of something that happened, like a flood or a drought. It could be a sighting. It could be depicting a hunt. It could be depicting a migration, or even maybe when the Europeans came through. It could be used for sky watching. Native Americans would track and record celestial events, the passing of the moon, the passing of the sun, seasons. They very well could have marked and indicated when the best hunt was, when they resided in a place like this. And also spirituality. Of course, we think that they possibly use these in ceremonial gatherings, possibly marking images of their deities or in prayer to their deities. The beauty of the petroglyphs here at Signal Hill are that nobody really knows what they are. We can study them for hundreds of years and maybe just get an inkling or an idea or an assumption about what they actually represent. But one thing we do know is that we need to protect these petroglyphs. Rock art does deteriorate. It does wear away over time, and it's irreplaceable. So please assist us in preserving this part of the rich cultural heritage of Saguaro National Park. So let's treat all rock art with respect. Let's not walk on it, let's not touch them with our hands, because even that can cause damage. So let's take nothing but photographs and leave nothing but footprints. Let's leave these ancient and mysterious images for the next generation of stewards to enjoy. Thank you.